Welcome back to Good Day. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and like the physical health, our mental health is something that we need to be mindful of all the time.
Yeah, Sarah Berendt of the Thomas M Wernert joins us this morning with some ideas on how to improve your mental health. So Sarah, you've been with us the last few weeks as we're wrapping up Mental Health Month. So talk to us about how people can improve their mental health. What are some of the things they can do?
Absolutely. So May alone is a great time to talk about mental health, but we have mental health the rest of the year as well. Sometimes there's so much focus on it in May, but we have to continue that beyond. So it's really about being aware of your mental health. So a lot of times when we think about mental health, we think mental illness. You know, not everybody has a mental illness, but everybody has mental health. And so that's something that's really important to remember just throughout the year. So just like we have to take care of our physical health, you know, diet, exercise, you know, getting outside, things like that, we have to do the same things for our mental health as well. And you know, be mindful of your stress levels. You know, how are you feeling overall? Are you really stressed? Are you anxious? So being mindful of that and doing things to kind of help cope through that. So that might be spending time with a pet. It might be getting outdoors. You know, it's beautiful outside. So spending some time outside is a really great way to help your mental health, even in the winter as well. So controlling your environment, so cleaning up, getting organized is a really great way to really check your mental health and kind of be in control of that. Spending time with loved ones, friends, family, socializing, doing activities you love, things like that.
Yeah, I really like that, Sarah. You talked about just cleaning up your personal space. When you organize things, you start to feel better, a sense of clarity there as well. So it's really good.
Yes, and I was glad that you also talked about, you know, people, they have, you know, everybody has mental health. So we have to take care of it. And maybe those are saying, okay, how do I, you know, kind of cope with all of this? What are some of the tips that we need to be using now and then all year long?
I think the first thing is recognizing that it's okay to have mental health, because that's something that we can struggle with in general, just acknowledging that we all have mental health. But it's important to remember that our head is attached to our body. So just like we want to take care of our body, we want to take care of that. So recognizing that, so acknowledging how you're feeling, what emotions you're experiencing, what's going on in your life. I think that's really the first step to really coping with and taking care of your mental health, because then once you acknowledge, you know, how you're feeling, then you can figure out, okay, what do I need right now? Am I just hungry? Because, you know, that's something too, like, I mean, if you're like me, I get really hangry. So even, you know, even just if you're feeling irritable, getting a snack and being aware of your own cues, you know, that your body's telling you that something might be off mentally or physically.
And for our viewers out there this morning, if someone confides in them about what they're dealing with their mental health, how should they approach that?
Yeah, so really not dismissing how they're feeling. So even something saying, okay, I'm here for you, let's figure out how we can get you some help. So not saying, you know, like, oh, well, just that really sucks, because that's dismissing, you know, how someone's feeling. So saying, okay, I'm gonna stay with you. Let's find some help. So there's some really great resources in Lucas County. So the Zeph Crisis Line is a really great option. There's also a helpline that you can call just to talk to somebody. Also 988 is the new suicide prevention number that you can call as well. If somebody you know is struggling or you're struggling, you can just talk to someone. So also we have the Thomas Wernert Center, which is where I work, and we're a peer-run mental health recovery center. So it's somewhere that you can come to be around folks who might have similar struggles with their mental health.
Yeah.
Right, and because that's the thing, you said, needing help, don't, you know, just dismiss it. So how can people, you know, ask for help? That might just even be hard to go and say, I need help.
It's very hard to say that. And if somebody's coming to you saying, I need help, that takes a lot of courage. There's a lot of ways that you can say, I need help, without saying those words. You know, for our generation who's into social media and texting, even just texting like, hey, you know, this is going on, I'm really struggling. You know, sending a text message and then following that up with a conversation can be a great way to do it. Or, you know, writing things down and handing somebody a note is a way to kind of get what you're feeling outside without having to verbally say it, because that can be really hard to say, hey, I'm struggling and I need help. So figuring out kind of roundabout ways. Even a really great option is, finding somebody talking about mental health. So whether it's this news segment or a TED Talk, and showing that to a loved one and saying, hey, I really resonate with what this person is saying right now. Can we have a conversation about that?
Yeah, so really just finding those outlets, whatever those might be. Now, with a mental health crisis, sometimes substance abuse is associated with that as well. And for some of our viewers, they're dealing with a mental health crisis. That might be the route that they're taking at this point. What is your message to them?
So really, that there's hope. You're in a really hard, challenging time right now, and a lot of people can get through that, and there's hope to get through that. There's help out there for whether it's substance use, whether it's mental health, addiction of any kind. There is help and there is hope for that recovery, and so that's really what I try and push. It's what we try and really push at the Wernert Center, is that there is hope for recovery. We talk about all of the bad things that come with addiction and mental health and stigma, but there really is hope for recovery.
And remind us again how we can connect and get some of these resources and some of those crucial numbers that whether you need the help or someone who needs help, kind of remind us how to find that information.
So one way is with the Thomas M Wernert Center. We have all that information on our website, so that's wernertcenter.org. You can also find it through the Lucas County Mental Health Recovery Services Board on their website. They have all of the resources listed as well. So those are really two great options. And then I would also recommend Zeph Center for their crisis services.
Okay, and then remind us that new phone number that you had mentioned.
988. So like you would call 911 for a physical emergency, you can call 988 for a mental health emergency. So if somebody's in crisis, if somebody is struggling, 988 will connect you to somebody that you can talk to. They can talk you through it. They can get you some help if you need that.
Yeah, it's nice because you see some of those billboards out there as you're driving around about 988, that crisis line. So thanks so much for all you do. And a nice reminder as well, I remember speaking with you last week, you said therapy. Talk to someone. You're a big advocate for that. So
absolutely, talking to someone, getting it out of yourself and finding that community.
Yeah. Awesome. Sarah, thanks so much.
Thank you.